Hello, everyone. I'm joined by members of the rock band Emergency Break. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you very
Good to
much
see
for
you.
joining me. So we have Leo, the frontman, and Ewan, bassist, who can also play guitar. As we know, every bassist can play guitar. They think it's a secret, but it's not a secret. Let me just mention the other members. So you have Finn, who plays guitar and keyboards, I think. Oren plays guitar, Joe plays guitar, and James is the drummer.
Yeah.
And I think Leo can play one chord on the guitar. Is that right?
Yes, I can. I'm known as the one
You got
chord
one
one,
chord there.
as you saw
Yeah.
live at O2. Brilliant moment. It
Yeah.
got a lovely cheer that when I did that, they got a really nice cheer. I was surprised. I was like, it doesn't. It looks really weird on me. I don't know about you and what you thought when I did that O2, but I
Do you know what?
I thought it looked really odd. Me having a guitar.
I feel proud that my efforts to try and get Leo to learn guitar is getting somewhere. But I think Leo in a crowd with a microphone, I think
Yeah.
that's where you're meant to be. I quite yeah.
No, I agree. It was not. It just looked a bit. It just looked a bit odd. It just did. I don't know. It looked cool, but
It
yeah.
was cool. It was nice.
There are a few odd things. We're going to mention a few of them. First of all, in the crowd, being carried by people with a microphone with a cable. Yeah, I don't know about that. So
It's standard practice at this point. Sometimes I almost like feel obliged that I have to do it. Like we do some shows and I'm like, we get like 3 songs in and I hear like, take your top off. And it's like, oh, well, this isn't special anymore. I'm basically just being peer pressure, just getting naked now.
Yeah, so well, basically, if you do that on the third song, I don't know how you're going to progress until the end.
Yeah, where do we bounce back? Yeah, no, O2 when we walked out like third, fourth song in, like people were chanting to get my top off, and I was like, we've got slow songs coming up. Like there's no coming once it's off, there's no coming
It's
back.
off.
Yeah.
Popping
Like
it back off.
there's no coming back, and I'm not gonna. It's really awkward to then stand there and re-put a shirt back on. But yeah, no, it's always one of my favorite moments. Is just when the crowd finally win over. Like there's that moment in It's Over live at O2 when everyone was low and I was standing up and I finally gave in and it was like it was like England scored in the 90th minute.
Yeah.
It's just like scenes.
Was the first stage dive? Because you've done quite a few things. Was the first time you did that stage dive?
Would have been the Camden Assembly headline, which would have been
Yeah.
almost a year ago now today.
Yeah.
That was the first time that I stayed up, and that wasn't really planned. I don't know you, and I don't know if you recall. Call me out if I'm lying here, but I don't recall really ever going into it going like I'm going to crowd surf, and then it kind of just happened.
I don't think it was ever planned, but
Yeah.
any gig I've been to with Leo, if there's not an attempt at least at a crowd surf.
That's a really good point. I take that back. If you're on about first stage dives in terms of EB, it's Camden Assembly, but I'm a little bit known for crowd surfing at other people's concerts. There's a lot of pictures of me at like, a Fontaine's gig or a Shame gig in crowd surfing. So yeah, it's been going around for a while. I needed the warm up. I needed the practice before I went and did it on my own. But that's where literally that poster behind you and right now, that is the iconic at Camden Assembly right there. That was that moment when I crowd surfed. So that's just really weird to look at right now.
I think it's just second nature to you, to be honest. It was they never kind of planned as, on this song, it's going to be a crowd.
I did it on Teddy Picker by the Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah, I think it was Teddy Picker, which is about 5 songs in. Which again, how you go.
I know, because like sometimes it just happens as well. Like O2, I didn't plan to really do it twice. So, like I wanted to do it on It's Over, like that's always kind of there, but I did not plan on Everything You Make or Break to sort of end up swimming on everyone. And I don't know if you can see that when you watched it, but I felt more almost pulled in. I was like, yeah, go on, then we'll go for it.
Well, it was a little bit. It looked at plan. Yeah, it looked a little bit messy, but yeah, it worked, I guess.
Yeah.
There are quite a few antics that you've done. I don't know how many of those are planned. Like when you got Joe on your shoulders.
Yeah, that was completely just in the moment.
It looked like definitely Joe wasn't briefed. That was clear. Because I saw you saying something to him, and he freaked out. He said, his body language was like, "What are you talking about? Go away!" And you still got him on your shoulders while he was playing guitar.
So we always talk about like funny bits sometimes like on FaceTime calls. And I remember mentioning months and months ago, like, oh, let's do a show where I get Joe on my shoulders. And it just never like that was it. That was the end of the discussion. And we got to them at Beth and we were just having like a good time. And I just went to Joe, I was like, do you want to go on my shoulders? And at first he was like, no. And then he was just kind of like, yeah, screw it. And then that's just kind of how that moment ended up. I like our antics. I don't know, like you and I don't know, support me on this, but like our antics are either, in my opinion, Phil, are either really, really planned or literally happen spontaneously. There's no in between, in my opinion. Like either
I
it's
think
almost rehearsed or it just happens.
I think
That's
that yeah, some of the stuff which requires props or so it's thought about, but a lot of them a bit like that with Joe. Most of our ideas come from the phone exactly the phone which ages managed to
yeah,
get hold. That's now a thing, but yeah, they're either really rehearsed and we'll sit on FaceTime and go, let's try this, and like 6 months later it happens, or it is just in the moment we should go for it. I
yeah.
mean, we're at Todd in the Hole the two
Oh, I know
weeks
exactly what you're gonna say.
and there's, I mean, yeah, actually, I've got two for you. So one from Leo. At least, probably when we started the band, Leo's always gone to me. He was gone, I really want a wireless mic, you. I really want a wireless mic. And it's never happened. It's never
No.
happened. We're behind stage. We look up and I go, Leo, look at the microphone. It's a wireless mic. So what else does he do? The thing he's planned, I think, for about a year to have the opportunity to do. This kid does like a lap of the field during Joe's guitar solo.
So I stood on the barrier and I was like, I don't want your prayers. And then I was like, I'm gonna do a lap of the festival by the end of this guitar solo. And I went, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I just hopped over the barrier and I sprinted for dear life. And then I came back and finished the song. I still don't know how my lungs didn't cave in. I was fine randomly, which
Quite impressive.
I was just,
Quite-
I genuinely thought I was going to have an asthma attack halfway through the run, and that was it. The show was going to have to be cancelled. But that stuff like that is just pure,
It
pure.
does look like you don't think what's going to happen next. It
No.
doesn't cross your mind when you start doing
Oh, yeah.
something.
And I don't know, as a front man, I trust them a lot. Like I know that the music is always safe. If you get what I mean, like that's the bit that I know is always going to be fine. Like we're always going to play Pyro and play it. We're always going to play It's Over and it be good. So like, like that's the bit like we know to some extent, or like we know we play, so just that it allows for that to happen and it be fun and like a bit chaos, but yeah.
But chaos is what you do.
Yeah, that's probably what we do best. Yeah. I mean, you've seen all sorts in your time. You've seen me stand on bar stools, crowds. I mean, you have genuinely seen it all, probably. There's not much left. I've got to go re-look at my magic book trick.
Well, I do hope you have new tricks. I mean, so the telephone wasn't a new idea, right? So you had that planned.
Uh,
But then you
we spoke
smashed
about,
it.
we spoke about the idea of a telephone for a very long time before we sort of like brought it in. Obviously we also needed Finn's great sound effects to pull it off. But no, that was just something that was sort of planned. But me to chuck it in front of the floor, that was just on impulse. I can't lie. And the bottom of it is still broken. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
looking at it right now. Poor
I
thing.
was like, yeah, I didn't even notice that until I think about a week or so later. I was looking at a video of it. And I texted. I was like,
Yeah, it was on
you cut the
your page,
phone.
on your page as well. Just the clip of me just
Yeah,
going like, yeah.
So I've noticed Finn carrying some kind of gadget at the live shows. I guess it contains things for your tricks as well.
yeah,
Yes, so Finn has a DI pad, and that was also what's behind the going spiral. That's that in it. It has the telephone effect, and from some other shows that you probably weren't at, it had some other like sound effects and stuff. It has the tick tick boom explosion in it. There's all sorts. It also has the power to like it can be played as well. But yeah, no, that's what that pad is for. If you ever see Finley with that pad, or one of us smashing that pad, it's basically a sound effect button. Is really what it is.
Okay. So you have a few shows coming up. Do you have any new tricks planned?
Yeah. We've had a bit of time off, like not like loads of time off, but like we've come off of what 2 weeks ago now, like two of our biggest shows probably to date. And then I've gone away and I've gone like I've got some new stuff up my sleeve, especially like and we're playing in all the gigs we're now playing up until like sort of even like mid-September, or all brand new venues. Like it's as we have never we've been like I've been to some of them and stuff, but in terms of we've never played, so
Yeah.
there's always room for, every venue is a new opportunity to climb something or swing on it, or Ewan stand there with his bass and look.
I was saying we
and
get to these
sexy.
venues, yeah. We get these venues and during sound check, you have all us stood there looking at going. I think it was at the Macbeth show which you were at. There was the pole. I remember us looking at it going, Leo, do you feel like climbing that? Well, we'll scout it
Yeah,
out.
I did that Macbeth show that you
Irish.
was that the first show that you come and saw us at, right? Was it the Macbeth show?
The Macbeth, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I contemplate for hours how I could try and hold like have that pole here and sing. And if we go back at like if we ever do play the Macbeth again, I will definitely try and
The weird thing is, the first impression I had of you playing live was when you did that unplugged, and I saw it on YouTube, and that was kind of just you two playing their the unplugged set, and it was a very quiet session without any tricks or anything, and then I come to see you at the Macbeth, and it was a totally different story.
I love the unplugged set so much. But yeah, as a first impression of us, that is a really weird first impression, because obviously it's just me and you, and the closest to antics that it got was me standing up on Irish Ecstasy and getting way too passionate. Other than that, like, there was no antics in that show, which was fun to do in my opinion. I liked that we could go into a show and I wanted to, that show was a little bit of an experiment in the sense of like, can our songs stand up without us, like me feeling the need to command the song as like from a front man perspective, like can the song stand up without the need of it to be commanded, and can it hold up with just one guitar and a voice?
Yeah.
And I mean, like I adore that set. Like whenever I go back to watch, if I ever go back and watch an EB set, especially like one that's kicking around on YouTube, that's usually my one I'll stick on the background.
Yeah, I think for me as well, it's a good test of the songs to go, okay, let's strip them all back. So if it holds up on an acoustic, I think that's when you know you've got.
It was great to sing some of the lyrics and really like feel it. Like I don't know, like I don't think we've got to a point yet where we're writing songs that are too deeply personal, but like there's bits in songs where they have meaning and significance still, and it's like nice to actually almost like sing that and appreciate it, and it doesn't have to be fast, quick, and instead it's just like Hometown was my favorite on that acoustic set, in my opinion. That was the highlight for me. I was like, that was the favorite, like that, just acoustically.
I'm going to ask
Go on.
you rating, but at the Mascara Bar, you climbed on some things there. You were in front of the air conditioning unit.
Yeah.
Yeah. At a tiny place, clearly there was no room on that stage for 6 people, and you found solutions there.
I know. So we're going back to Mascara Bar next Friday. We're playing literally next Friday, and we were looking at we got invited to this gig. We're supporting the Molotovs at like a summer festival, and like we've wanted to work the Molotovs for a while, so like we actually can't wait to play the show. But like the first thing I put in the group chat was, lads, we're returning to Mascara Bar. Get ready to be on your heels again, because we literally were just like, So, and I remember like going to stand on that barrel and not realizing that it was next to the AC, and I was roasting hot. And I just remember thinking, that is incredible. I did not want to leave. And I was like, actually, hold on, I've got a few more songs to go yet. But I remember chugging some random glass of water as well, just on the side, that was definitely not mine and no clue who it belonged to. But it was a bit gross. Thinking about that now, that actually sounds, I shouldn't have admitted to that. But yeah. I do love them shows a little bit, because it makes us like, the creativity runs up because of that reason, because we're forced into like literally a box. I mean, it's not even a box. We were basically playing on like half a triangle. There was no room there. Like poor James was like drumming like like I think one of the amps even gave Joe an electric shock. Like it's just funny. But I do sometimes prefer that type of show. But then when we have room, we are like, I love having a bit of room. Like we played.
Well, you need room. You need room.
Like Todd in the hole, I'm running around the crowd. These two are doing laps of each other. There's all sorts. I'm standing on drum kits. The minute you give us room, we're like kids in a play area. Like, because we're not used to that room, we take full advantage of it. Like, especially like poor Todd in the whole festival. Like thank God, like we also played good, because otherwise I reckon some of the stuff like the antics we got up to would have not been forgiven.
I think doing your mascara bars where you have like because there's 6 of us anyways, which is quite big. You restrict us, you give us a bit of space, and it all just comes out.
Yeah, it's all that. It's all the mascara, like the mascara bar, and actually the Bedford we had a bit of room, but like all them gigs where we don't have the room all gets bottled up for that one show where we do, and we just kids in a play area.
Yeah. Let's talk about the name. I don't want to try to assume what it might mean. I don't want to try to guess. I want to ask you, what is emergency break?
What is emergency break? That's a like a great question.
That.
I don't even know if we fully know the answer. Okay, how I look at it right now is something I'm not fully aware the full potential of. Also, so a light story quickly behind the band in terms of like me, you, and Joe, sort of like, and Joe who's our guitarist, sort of sat down and decided we did want to be in a band one day, and that's sort of where it comes. And I remember sort of just jokingly saying like we should just be called Emergency Break, like you need an emergency break, and it's gonna go off, because like we always had the idea of like we wanted some like a live show that was just like nuts and crazy, and like the school uniform idea had been there from basically day one. Like we have never done a gig without the school uniform other than the Unplugged show, which felt weird. But that like the uniforms has been there before the music, like, and the name and the logo has stood it has stood before even songs like Pyro. That's what we had, and we wanted like the idea, like we love the idea of like a ham and nut show, and especially like me, like Ewan and Joe, like we're really sort of inspired by like a lot of like really, I don't even know, I don't want to call them weird because I absolutely adore all of the bands that we go and see live, but like we're used to a nuts and a sweaty live show, and I remember like we turning to each other and go like, we want to do that. That's what we want. Like, I think a bad show for us is like if we get up there and we play and we don't really talk and we just play the songs and we like, this is the next one. In my opinion, that's an idea of a bad show from like Emergency Break. And because of that, like, I guess currently that is what Emergency Break is. And we've just kind of ran with the name ever since. And I guess the backing behind the name is that you're taking emergency break, or, or to some extent you're slamming the emergency brake, but it's not spelt that way. I kind of like the idea that
I guess
you're taking
it gives the sense of urgency and panic, which is what you try to have in your shows, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's why like I love a half an hour slot, because like O2 Academy Islington, Camden Assembly, Old Blue Last, they're great shows, and like we get to headline them and it's incredible, and all have been sellouts. Like it's incredible, but there's something a little magical about a half an hour emergency breaks a lot over an hour and 10 hour and 15 minutes, just through the pure fact that like even I walk off the stage and I'm like, can we just do one more? Like, can we just do like we can leave? That feels like an emergency break. Like when we play for like a half an hour set, that feels like you've literally just like, who are these kids? Why are they in uniform? It also like seems to de-age us by about 2 years every time we put that uniform on. Like we played Todd in the Hole, and my mum come and watched us, and some lady asked my mum, being like, mate, they're so great for 15 and 16 years old. It's like, I've got bad news. Put another 4 years on that. Like, and that's also the really great thing. Like I think we always wanted from day one, especially like with the uniform and stuff like that, we wanted to like really like kill an expectation. I don't know, like you and we've been here for fun. Like I guess
think, yeah, a lot of Emergency Break has kind of unintentionally fulfilled itself. I remember, I think I showed Leo not too long ago. I found in like this diary I had from when we started it, we were chucking some names around, and one of them was Emergency Start at one point. And I think that's looking back at how Emergency Break came. But again, with school uniforms, I think it was just kind of thought, that's a bit funny. But like some of our antics and stuff, we kind of go, look, what do we enjoy? What we kind of find funny, and it's kind of fulfilled itself. And it's kind of like more of an extension of what actually the
I
name
remember
and
that like September to December period, where like me, you, and Joe would go to almost a gig every week for like, that was just, and then we formed Emergency Break the January, so just like a month after that, and there was talks around, and I remember just we would go to a gig a week, like whether it was at the Roundhouse or here or there, and I just remember thinking like what, and I remember when we first sat down and thought about Emergency Break, even before the music, it was like, what do we like about a live show that we can bring to our own? because that's all like we ever want. Like purely, we just want to have like as much fun as possible because we think that also reflects in the audience. Like in terms of like if we got up there and we were miserable, I think the energy has to like I think we have to bring a certain energy every time, like especially like with O2 Academy Islington. Like I was walking out then I was like, we've got to bring a certain level of hype to ourselves on that stage to have the hype in the pit.
Yeah.
If you get what I don't know.
Well, yeah, I think that
Definitely.
That's emergency break in a nutshell, I guess. I don't fully think we fully know the capability or the potential of it yet, and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I feel like it's got a ceiling right now.
I think that period as well, that's like 10th of December was, especially with me, you and Joe, we would just go to gigs, we'd sit on calls for hours, just chucking ideas around of all this like stuff we were thinking, we saw this, that's quite cool, we could do this, we could do that, why don't we try filming this, try recording that. And it kind of fulfilled itself in emergency break, and it's the first kind of idea. I think we actually went, then maybe there's something there, but just a bit of fun. I think that's the main.
The show to almost our live show has been there before the music. Like I said earlier, like before Thrive Goal, before Outsiders, before Irish XC, there was the show, and
that was definitely something from day one.
Yeah,
we were like, we want to do something that's maybe like quite theatrical, quite high.
And that's also down to our background. Like you told me 3 years ago that I'd be the front man of a band, I'd probably have laughed in your face if you want my honest opinion. Because it's just it's great, but that's sort of emergency break, I guess. So
what's the background? Are you an actor?
Yeah, so me and Ewan are both actors, so is Joe. Joe, I guess, had the closest first relation to music. I mean, I know you do have experience in music, Ewan. I mean, me, not so much. My experience in music was turning around and being like, I like gigs. I want to give it a go. And do you know what? Like, I think the approach we actually had was probably the best approach. And when like people do ask us who start bands or want to start bands, that is usually what I say. Like, just go to a show, see what you like about it, see what you don't like, and just give it a go. Like, it's harder to watch someone hold back than it is to watch someone go for it, in my opinion.
So you may figure out an identity first, and then you start.
That was what we did. We accidentally fell on the brand before we fell on the band. Is that wow? That was smooth. That was like a plan.
I think
like the logo literally was probably with us from day two. That logo
sounds like you write lyrics.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I know you would think I write
lyrics.
This logo right here is older than probably any song on 100%. Any set list.
100%. I think
and that uniform is older than any. I remember we did a dress rehearsal for a gig we had coming up, and we walked into the studio we used to rehearse at in London, and the guy was like, "Are you like why are you dressed like lawyers? Where are you going?" And we was like, "It's just the dress rehearsal." Like,
I think as well that's probably coming to our background about having a dress rehearsal really rather than things like a sound check.
That says everything. That says everything.
It sums it up really, doesn't it?
But we have a dress rehearsal for big shows.
But yeah, I think as well the identity thing is partly down to because the band was originally me, Leo, Joe, and Leo didn't really have any musical experience. Joe, I think, had guitar lessons, and my experience in terms of guitar and bass was
you basically DIY bass.
Yeah, a month into lockdown was my birthday. I thought I'll get a guitar. Why not? So I got the cheapest acoustic guitar, taught myself, and then come emergency break in January. I had done like one gig with like just a performance in my sixth form where I was on bass because there was literally nothing left. So it kind of worked. Like, well, Leo, you can go on vocals. Joe knows guitar, and I've played bass once. We'll do that. So I think there wasn't actually, to be honest, too much coherence in terms.
Someone has to play drums.
Yeah,
we didn't have a drummer.
Before I'd say like emergency break was. It can't happen with the three of us, but it really kicked off when the Power Rangers or the all six of us were teamed up.
Did all six of you go to school together?
No. We've all met at like different sort. Everyone has a weird link to everyone, and then we've all come then together and connected the tree. So like I obviously when I went to like a theatre school with Joe and Ewan, and that's how we met. And then Joe went to school with James and Finley and Oren, and then they've all sort of been like friends or in similar friendship groups, but then it's kind of brought them together, and then we've come together as like a six. So like we like, if you want my honest opinion, I didn't really know Finley existed about a year and a half ago. That's
Okay.
that's the truth. Yeah. So, and now like I'd say like a lot of us are as like, you know, we're inseparable. Like you can't get in between us, which is crazy for a year and a half. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And
Yeah. I
this
mean,
is the case between all of you, I guess. I can see the chemistry between all of you. You
I
know,
think we just have so much fun. Like
yeah.
every time it's just fun. Like I have to stop smiling sometimes, like just because it's like, hold on, this is not cool. Um,
I think that's the main thing. I don't think we're like inherently a cool band and you just like slicked hair and your glasses and that kind of stuff. And I think our main thing is just want to have fun. That's what it was from the start, really, with me, Leo, and Joe. That let's just have a laugh and be in a band. Like, why not? I remember we even talked about it. It's like, you see those YouTube videos of like people who just pull off this thing that like, they shouldn't be trying to do. Like they just have no experience in this field. And we're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's just see how far we can go.
we
But
broke
I
the
remember,
music industry episode 2.
yeah, we
Yeah.
were like, oh, let's apply for a Reading festival when we've never been in a recording studio yet. Let's just try and see what happens.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm very thankful for the opportunities we got early doors, because I'll one day have the balls to share these clips to you, but I have a lot of recordings from early EB day stuff, and it's not very good. It's terrifying.
We've come on.
And like as I was watching it and I go like, the fact that anybody ever actually allowed this to be put on their festival stage is ridiculous. But I guess you have to, in my opinion, you have to start somewhere, and it's all trial and error. And we've only ever.
You do feel you've made a lot of progress, right?
Sorry, say that again.
You do feel you've made a lot of progress.
In a year, I personally think we've still got a lot of growing to go. But if I show you clips from us a year ago, it's nowhere near the same band.
Because
It's
when we talked in April about the festival, you sounded rather humble about whether Emergency Break belong in there in the same lineup with all the other musicians. And I have to say, since then I've seen you a few times, and from what I've seen, I think you do belong there, and you not just this year, even next year, if you're going to have even more musicians. And maybe you have now more convinced yourselves that you are actually good enough to be in the same bill with those people.
Well, thank you very much first.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, no, it was especially, there's always the self-doubt. I think that comes with being in this field, is the self-doubt. Like I like that we're always growing, and I feel like we get better every live show. And that's why we also almost do play live almost where we can as possible, where it's like financially possible, because I think we get better, we learn from our mistakes, especially because like me, Joe, and you come from a theatre background, like we've been taught to, go up and do a play like 60 times, and it's going to try and hopefully it improves performance by performance. So that regiment in us, sort of like, that's how we basically approach the live show. And we hope that it takes a step up the step every time we play. So
I think that's also, I think it's where we find our fun as well. Especially with me, I think what I'm in the most grateful for, I want to play live, because you don't, it's all kind of new. You don't know what you can do on stage. You don't know what your crowd's going to be like. You don't know what a song is going to exactly be like. You can practice it a million times in the studio, but anything can happen.
Yeah,
and
that's the generic point.
We all quite like almost like the jeopardy of it in a bit of a way. And I think you learn a lot from it. You learn more from going like into the unknown a little bit, just going like a little bit too far with each show. You don't quite know what's going to happen. And I think that's how you keep growing. I think that's why I think we've done quite well, and I think we're kind of progressing nicely.
And
I love this year's On the Meadow lineup. Like that's like such a great collaboration of artists. Like I'm super excited. I mean, that's weeks away now. And I remember like when we spoke on Zoom, that was months away, and the lineup had just dropped.
Yeah.
And I was still over the Atlantic, but now it's literally weeks away, and I'm really excited. I think that's going to be just an incredible day. Yeah.
I really love the fact that you have 3 electric guitars on stage at the same time. I love the sound. What was it planned, or is it a matter of which people you knew and you brought together as a band?
Yeah, I think it was all a bit accidental. Again, with like a lot of things in Emergency Break, it just happens by the way.
It fell into place. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was so literally last summer we had our Camden Assembly show, which is somehow nearly a year ago to the day, which is crazy. We had a gig in Soho, the Spice of Life, And I think Oren was on holiday, so like, oh well, we need another guitarist. That's how we got Finley in. Finley came in, and we're like, okay, well now we've got Finley, Joe, and Oren. But we're like, I think we all loved playing with each other so much. We all love being band. Like, you know what, we can make this work. Let's give it a go. Why not? See what
And
happens.
Finley offered up a nice hand in the sense where he was like, well, if there's songs where the rhythm free guitars really isn't needed, Finley is also our in-house producer for a lot of our songs. I feel like this isn't actually that well known as a fact, but you know, like Can You Feel It and Everything You Make or Break were made in-house by Finley, who obviously plays on stage with us. He masters them. And we pretty much almost record independently to some extent. With obviously the help of a sound engineer when we're recording, but like all of our releases currently have been done like independently and in-house. And Finley offers like such a like I'm gonna now like I'm now gonna stroke Finley's hair for a second, but like Finley offered a really nice creative solution because obviously some of our songs now have a third guitar part that, or there's just a certain thing, or if not, like there's synth, there's keys, there's percussion, and in my opinion, it was that extra nice level we needed on the sound to really put us like in the forefront of life.
Continue the Finley love for a little bit. We'll give Finn some love today. Finn is like, he's really versatile. So like Leo said, he's got the guitar, he can do a bit of keys, bit of synth. He can play drums so well as well.
He can play drums. Yeah, he did step up for drums for a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
So he can just like jump around. He can try this, try that, try this, like add different bits to the song. I think I think that's like the missing part a little bit. It's like adding something new to all the little songs we could never do the Going Spiral before. And now like that's one of the best things about Pyro.
And we've had like you know, Finley came in. It was like in my opinion like a great time. He's the last addition really to Emergency Break, like as of like the current rotation. And when like Finley came in, he offered a great solution because we had a lot of songs like Pyro and It's Over and Fried Gold was just about there and Irish Ecstasy. These songs existed, but it was nice to have someone who had the musical knowledge and idea who could come in and listen to these songs and go like, they're great, but it just needs this, or I would personally just add this. And like, it's sometimes hard with your own songs. So I feel like sometimes you can almost play anything and you're going to say like, it's good, or you're going to defend it to the grave. So to have someone come in who had like a bit more thick skin, like Finley was like, it needs a tambourine part. It would be lovely with this. Like it gave that last like walk up the flight of stairs we needed musically.
So, you know, Leo, when I see you having all these things on stage, all these antics, I was wondering if you kind of have a sidekick on those things. And initially I thought maybe Ewan is your sidekick. Then I thought maybe Joe, or I know now you're both singing Finley's praises. I think it's pretty much everyone involved.
That's
not James, but yeah,
that's what I love. But everybody, there's no duo to some extent. And like we can really like put the stage layout however we want. Like there's always going to be chemistry.
I think as well, everyone's kind of quite up for it as well. There's no one who's there going, oh, please, Leo, don't take it.
Yeah, don't come up to me and talk to me during that bit. And like it also means like that's the great thing when everybody's up for it. Like it leads to special moments with everybody in the band. Like you know, like me and Finley popping the confetti at Irish Ecstasy. Although that was like a great moment between everybody in the crowd, there was also a little bit that was like, that was a great moment between me and Finn right there. Or there's just all sorts, you know, getting Joe on my shoulders, you know, there's just all sorts of moments of like whenever we just let me and you and just suddenly decide to double up on vocals and then I run away. I mean, even actually, you could even argue that moment on your shoulders at the Macbeth, on them, well, I have Joe on my shoulders at the Macbeth, I go, Ewan, sing it, and you're like, oh yeah, spirit. I mean, even there, like there's the three of us, like.
So
do you have like a specific idea what kind of image you want to establish about yourselves as a band, or is it just a matter of let's go and have fun and whatever happens?
Part of it's like let's go and have fun, but like a little thing we'd love to be known as like the schoolboys that just turn up and just like absolutely just scream it and leave and you never see them again. Like that I'm loving that, like we're getting that sort of bit of a reputation. I absolutely love it. Like we turned up to Todd in the Hole.
Are you trying to build that reputation?
Yeah, I like that. I like that reputation just because it's fun. Like there has a character to it, and I think there's a little bit of a character to all sort of us within the band. And I think the acting side feeds into that. In terms of like, I like that we're getting this sort of reputation that like we turn up, we like just like slam everything to 110%, and then we just leave with no crumbs. And that, like, in my opinion, like, I don't know about you, Ewan, but like, I love that sort of reputation that we're getting as like the schoolboys. And it's not exactly like we're bad schoolboys. We're just like, but like, I mean, like, we got an email the other day just like sharing us some pictures from a festival we played, and it was addressed to us as "Dear Schoolboys," and it was like, cool, okay. And that's why, like, I really do love the image we have, like the bubble gum, the ties. Like, it's something I'm really like quite proud of. Like, I think like me, Joe, and Ewan could sort of be like that. Like, I think we're like all quite proud of the image that it has. And I don't think you need to like even see us live. If you just see the shirt and the tie, hopefully you go, that's emergency break. I hope one day that's the aim. That one day you see someone wearing bubble gum.
You talked about people like friends and family wearing ties and having this kind of concept.
Yeah, I know. I'd love to do it. I'd love to do a concert one day where we can have the whole audience wearing the ties and shirts, and then we'll turn up not wearing them. Like, we'll be like, "What? Why have you come here like this?" Like, I think a prom or something's on the cards. We should do an EB prom.
EB prom's a good idea.
Graduation party. Something's on the cards. We'll do something at some point.
There'll be many EB concept shows that have been thought of.
Yeah, we have a lot. We have a lot. Like,
Even
that's
ones
also,
like, yeah.
the wheel of ideas just turns and turns, and it gets bigger and bigger the bigger the shows. Like, someone asked us, like, where do you see like emergency break in a couple of years? And I was like, in my opinion, right now, the bigger the shows, the bigger the ideas, the bigger the energy right now. Like,
The EB wheel of ideas is insane. I think honestly, yeah, give us bigger stages, give us a bigger budget, and I think some of the ideas we've come up with. There are some O2 ones, which we tried to find so many ways of how to do them.
Yeah.
That never came to fruition. But one day, hopefully, we'll bring them out.
Let's talk about songwriting. So first of all, who is involved in songwriting, and is there any process, any specific process?
You're gonna hate the answer where I say that like everybody contributes to a lot of these songs. There's very rarely like someone comes in and goes lyrics, guitar, drums. Like, that doesn't really happen a lot.
No, but that's good. But how does it work? Does someone write a bit of lyrics or a bit of melody and brings the beat to the table?
Yeah, so I could maybe write like a chorus or a melody, or like Joe and Ewan, you're both quite great for like creating guitar parts or riffs or like, bridges, and suddenly like it kind of all strings together, and we will jam with a song a few times, and then like Outsiders came really out of nowhere. Like, sometimes we also walk out with songs out of nowhere. Like, we did a studio session to rehearse some other songs for summer, and we walked without Outsiders, the song.
Yeah,
and
I think
made it a barrel.
Yeah, I think the way some of the songs work, I think it's how we work best. Is like we all sit at home and we try strumming the guitar, try writing something, and we'll bring it in and go, okay, right, I've got this, or even just not even say anything. It's kind of like how Outsiders came. I just looked at Finn, started just strumming, go right, try something to this, just see what happens, and then it's you're kind of chucking a little bit, and you toss it around a bit, toss around ideas, and that's how the song comes. Like, it's not really.
We hybrid a lot. Like, I'm constantly like writing lyrics or like chorus ideas, and like sometimes I'll sit down with someone like Ewan or Joe and I'll write like full lyrics to a song that has no other thing, and then like at a later date, for example, Outsiders, I wrote like the melody chorus part, like the "Why don't you step outside," I wrote that on like on my notes app, and then I was like, actually that works really well there, and then if I take that bit from that bit I wrote there and put that there. And there's bits that are meant to be in originally other EB songs that have ended up in the other ones. So Everything You Make I Break or like Hometown are both great examples of that. That chorus in Hometown was meant for like a song that Ewan scrapped. And then I was like, actually, that would really work in that, Ewan. I'm gonna nick that chorus. Yeah. And like we kind of end up like we'll make like 3 songs and then Big Mac it into one. That's basically how like, it works quite a lot.
I think yeah.
But
I think as well with
you have a song. Yeah, go on.
So yeah, I think with a lot of our songs as well, like we're all quite multi-instrumentalists. So like we'll try writing like guitar, bass, like a drum part or some lyrics. So we've got that all chucking around. So we're not like really exclusive. It's not like Joe, you're staying on guitar and you're going nowhere. Yeah. Or like Leo, you can't try singing guitar if you're singing your vocals. So it's all quite creative and all flows around a lot. And I think again that's why it kind of works, because it's just going to things that we know, maybe don't know exactly how to do it amazingly, but with each other something quite special happens. And you get songs which I quite like. I think are quite quite good.
Okay. You have a song called Irish Ecstasy, which sounds quite dodgy, to be honest. So what is it? Is it Pills
that's
from
the
Ireland?
general
What is it?
It's
that's
always,
the
yeah,
that's the general consensus. Whenever we're like, we have this really good love song that we like called Irish Ecstasy, and they're like, is it about your love for ecstasy made in Ireland? And I'm like, no, it's just describing the feeling, I guess. I don't really know. It was a song brought into studio by James. Um, and it kind of just grew from there. I mean, if I ever find the original demo to the song, it's not sung anywhat in the tempo that it's in now. If I'm right, you and correct me if I'm wrong, it was actually originally quite a quicker song than what it's ended up.
yeah.
It
I
was
think
originally the slow, cheesy love song of the set. It was a more quicker.
I think Irish is a good example of the way we've kind of chucked songs about it, because Irish at one point was really slow, and at one point was quite fast. Like I think with a lot of songs, we try to push them to the two extremes as well, and you end up with the middle ground. But
I love that song and Pyro have just come on leaps and bounds, and I love what they're both about as well. Like especially like Pyro is arguably like Hometown is probably my favorite in the set list, but Pyro is my favorite every time you hit that going spiral button and you just see the face. I just like there's something fun about Pyro, and I love like the meaning behind Pyro and stuff, and like especially it comes on the same deck as Irish Ecstasy. Like Irish Ecstasy was just the song that we threw around for a very long time. And I think I love how it sounds now compared to a year ago.
And I think
I'll try
I think the song Everything You Make a Break is probably the song that reflects the image that you're trying to build, isn't it?
yeah, I'll probably give you that. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's
So
it's the probably commands the most chaos.
yeah.
Randomly really annoying to sing. Like that's real behind the scenes knowledge. Like it's not exactly like I'm hitting crazy notes, but like it's just it's all done in one breath. It's actually quite quite an annoying song to sing. So if anybody ever wants to cover it, let me know. I'll send you over the lyrics. But you got to do it in one breath.
I think the songs you've released so far are all in capitals, right? Is it because you like to scream all the titles? Is it the kind of image you want to have?
Yeah, it sort of gives like the bold energy we're trying to put across. And I don't know, like songs like Pyro, like when we come up with that idea to have everything in all caps, a song like Pyro, I don't know, I feel like in the title just does not come across right in lowercase. Like
Yeah.
like it's Pyro and it should be said like that. Do you know what I mean, Ewan? Or am I just now sounding
yeah,
I lost the plot?
I think you're right. It started with the first ever demo we released, which was It Sober, which was recorded in the back room of the studio on my laptop with no bottom on it, no
Yeah.
proper microphone or anything. And we're like, oh, what really sums up It's Over? I think, especially in that first demo, which we will make a better recording at some point, we promise. There's Leo screaming it, and we're like, oh yeah, that's the essence of It's Over. So it needs to be bold in your face. But I think Emergency Break is a lot of times quite bold. We're like, yeah, that kind of sums up the brand quite nice. We kept going. I think it sums most of the songs up really.
And that's the world I don't think we fully have got right yet, which is the streaming side. And it's also the side that like I'm not panicked on getting right. The side that I wanted right was the live show. Like sometimes like we've almost all agreed at some point, we said like we don't have as like the age we are at and stuff, we don't have the budget to throw $2,000 at a single right now. Like we do pretty much every single we've ever released, like we've made for about 100 to 200 pounds. And purely for the reason we just don't have the money right now to throw at that, but also like a lot we've come to the conclusion a lot with the songs that we do have out, we want to capture the feeling of what it would be like live. Like it almost is like a reference, like because I feel like if you hear Can You Feel It or Everything You Make a Break or Pyro live and then come back to it on a later date on Spotify, I think it's a lot more different listening experience than you just booting up Can You Feel It for the first time, because I don't know.
I think until like 3 months ago or something, you had only one studio track. And then you released 2 songs recently. You're planning to release an EP, which will have 6 songs.
Yeah, that's coming. That's coming very soon. We're trying to give like we're slowly building to the EP. Like it's getting there, but we're just like we do have another single very soon. I won't go into much detail. I know you'll be very excited, but we do have another single. There's another single cooking in the bank. Don't worry, it's there. It's there.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll have
the
6 songs. And
Yeah.
that's in addition to Pyro. And you also have the song called Outsiders, which I think will not be in the EP. So you're building up a good set of songs for the live shows. I think this is probably like a milestone. And you seem to be writing quite a lot in recent months. Where are you with that? Do you think you're getting towards a point where you will have a decent set of original songs?
Yeah, I think that's the next step. I think we said after O2 Academy Islington, we want to step away from like relying on covers. We think like some of us, like as songwriters, I think a lot of us are getting stronger. Like we've come a long way from even It's Over. Like I guess It's Over is really our first song, and that song has evolved from its first rendition, but we've come a long way from that. Like and me and Ewan were literally talking about this last night. Like the next step is to hopefully now be able to do an hour headline set and it be all original, which I think we had the power to do at O2 Academy Islington, and I wish maybe we did now. I think looking back on it, I don't know, you and give me your opinion on this.
I think because we've always tried to quite move quick as well. And in terms of songwriting, I think that again, talk about the bank of unreleased Emergency Break stuff. I found a recording the other day from the rehearsals for Camden Assembly, which was me, Leo, Joe, James had come, we had another guitarist. We'd been together, I think, for a week. We had literally 2 original songs going into that.
Yeah.
There is some stuff in that which is.
I remember I proposed Pyro in them record that rehearsal session. A real fun do you want to know a real fun Emergency Break fact? Pyro by Emergency Break was debuted at Camden Assembly, like the first big headline show for us. The song was made the night before.
Right. And what else did you have by that time?
It's Over, Irish Ecstasy, Fried Gold, and I guess like
I think it was only Fried Gold and Irish really, and those 2 songs.
Obviously, yeah, It's Over. There's a rendition of Hometown to some extent. If you were cheeky, you could listen to a chorus in a song and you would hear All Alone in My Hometown. I just want to hear the sound, but other than that, every other song there has died, from what I'm aware. Yeah, every other original.
Every original song is dead.
You started what? Did you say January 23? You started as a band?
Yes, yeah.
So with the 3 of you at that time?
Yeah, it was just the 3 of us at that point. Yeah.
So when did you become the 6 that you are now?
So we didn't gain Finley till August of last year.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
what
really,
was it after Camden?
We've been about a 6-piece for just pushing a year now. So like the full band has been the full band for a year now.
And was that after the Camden Assembly?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Finn came up. Yeah. I think James has been around the longest, bar me, Leo, and Joe. James came around April, May time. Oren then came about a month later. And Finn came August. So the 6-piece is still kind of quite new.
And it all fell into place perfectly. Like I wouldn't personally wouldn't have wanted it any different. Like they all came at like great creative milestones, like for the band. And then like in my opinion, like we said,
you just started a push for live shows just a few months ago, I think.
Like really, we really tried to put the pedal down like a couple months ago. Like we were like, let's just really like just start putting it out there and the music out there.
And you have quite a lot of shows, so you seem, determined to go there, get a lot of shows, get the experience, and it looks like you are picking up more and more fans with your songs, with all the crazy things you do. It looks like you're catching a lot of interest.
What's great is every show currently, I feel like even if we gain 3 new fans, it's a great thing. And I don't know if I fully know if I want to call them fans even. I kind of like the idea that we just have like this like mentor and fun sort of like people who come to our shows. And I love that. I really like the sort of like the range of people we bring like to a show, like a headline show. Like especially like O2 Academy Islington was just in my opinion, what a great crowd. Like that was an incredible crowd. Like that Irish Ecstasy moment gives me goosebumps still right now. Like that was the moment for me on stage at that show where I was like, that was pure goosebumps. Like that moment I was like, these are lyrics that were written a year or more so ago, and now there's like 250 plus people singing it back. And now it's the girls' turn. Now it's the men's turn. And yeah.
The new other parts.
They did, yeah. And that's something really great, like the fact that there's a lot of people out there who know the stuff that isn't out. Like, you know, Hometown and Irish actually really do have, and Fried Gold, I'd even argue, do have like quite the great following, despite not fully even really being out there. Like, I mean, the closest you can get to it is maybe a clip on your YouTube channel or ours, and that's about it. You know, yeah, everybody still seems to find a way to sing it back to us.
And I think from now on, in the next 2 or 3 months, you're going to be very busy. You have a lot of shows coming up. You have a lot of recordings that you're working on. It's going to be a very busy period.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and we've got some great stuff. And we've obviously got you know, anything about us, there might be a sneaky O2 Academy movie coming out and all sorts. So yeah, it's a very busy period. So yeah,
Okay.
but you know, all like great and exciting stuff. Yeah, it's just, in my opinion, like it's the next step. Like we're just, we hope to just try and like step up or evolve every time, and I think we're getting there into the next era.
Do you have any specific ideas, you know, how you want to progress in certain stages, or do you just see growth as it comes, you know, progression as it comes?
It's a little bit growth as it comes, but a little bit is like we like that we're pushing the envelope every headline show. So every headline show is like a bigger audience and a bigger idea, and hopefully like that eventually leads to playing bigger venues. And that, in my opinion, that's currently like how I like match, or like we use the headline shows as almost like pinpoints, like very much like when me and you and Ever talk about moments where like, yeah, that was around Old Blue Last, or that was around Camden, or that was around the Macbeth era, or that was around, you know, Camden Assembly era, or Spice of Life. So like any of our headline slots have always been like, you know, like landmarks, and that's how like that, in my opinion, that's the best growth for us.
I
And
think
especially show
You don't
Yeah.
shows.
hesitate to have a headline show at a big venue. You just go for it, and it looks like you did get the crowd in the end, and it was a great show. You did
What's
think, you know, it would be a risk to have this headline show at this big venue.
Yeah, that's something like the pressure's always on, especially when it's a headline show and it's bigger. Like, you know, we done Camden Assembly, we did Old Blue Last, and it was like, got to we pushing the envelope just a little bit further in terms of like, you know, the fan base, the capacity, the type of show, you know, the covers to originals, the all sorts, you know. There was a lot like on the line. It was a, in my opinion, like I think you and you definitely also felt it, like them days are a nerve-wracking day for me. Like them headline show days are a bit of a nervous wreck day for me. I do like that we always do step up to the occasion though, but they are always at first. And it's not even the performing, it's just everything needs to run smoothly. But we love the headline shows, in my opinion. Again, like I said, they're great landmarks. I don't know, like you, and do you have anything to say on that?
Yeah, I think the way we have, yeah, it's all landmarks, and I think it's kind of like, okay, like so we know the outline of where we want to go, and actually like kind of color it and filter it all in as we get there. But especially with the headline shows, they're the ones which like O2 was sitting in our heads for literally a year.
Oh,
I
it
think
was
we came,
a year ago, yeah.
yeah, we came away from Camden like, okay, well, where do we want to be next summer? Let's try O2 Islington. That's in the calendar. So for a year, we're mulling these things over sometimes. Like, okay, why don't we try to push this? So these ideas all kind of get chucked around. So when it comes to the day, it suddenly all comes a bit real.
Yeah.
Um,
We're very plan in advance band. Like what you don't know is that this is TMI. I will not share any more details on this, but the next two EB headline shows are very much planned out and like done. They just need to be announced, and the next part, like we very much plan like almost a year in advance when it comes to stuff like that, just for the pure fact like the goal is there. Like we felt a little bit lost the day after O2, and I was happy we had a gig, and it was like a gig to like it was a great and fun gig, because like after like most headline shows we've like been a little bit like, so what now?
yeah, especially after O2, I remember I kind of we did O2, did Todd and the holiday after. I think I just sat there in the sun and I just know what to do with myself. Like this has been a year in the works. That year's kind of done now. It's gone amazing. Like, what's next? And I think we like to feel like we're progressing. We're always pushing towards something, whether it's with the music, with the headline shows, with trying to create better recordings, stuff, trying to create a better experience. It helps drive the band and get the progress. When you end up after it, it's been incredible. Where you go, I think we all get quite bored. We always want something to work towards. I think between all of us lot, we need to keep moving. We need to keep growing. They're always such
So
fun.
you do you have like the same kind of mindset, and also in terms of music, do you have similar influences?
Yeah, I'd say pretty much like there's some leakage here and there, but like pretty much like we're all pretty inspired by very like similar genres or similar ideas. Like sometimes some really weirdly niche songs are pulled up in the studio. We're like, can it sound a little bit like this part of this part? And we're like, yeah. But like I think like creatively, like we're on the pretty much same wavelength, especially also in the goals. Like everybody understood like the O2 Academy Islington objective in the band. There was no one backstage who didn't know we had to try and go out there and absolutely like kill it. And hopefully it came across like we did. I'll see when I sit back and watch the movie.
Yeah, I think we've all got the same sort of mindset, both with trying to get stuff and also looking back at it afterwards. Like we're always kind of saying, okay, right, this is what we want to achieve from this. Then we'll look back at it the day after, the week after, and we'll go, this worked, this didn't work. Like it's always constantly looking and trying to improve things. I think we've all got a similar mindset to that, and that's why we work quite well. So I think it's
What makes me now
great.
sound like a saddo is I watch a lot of EB recordings. I watch a lot of our own shows back, probably more than many people do, than anyone does. The YouTube's probably more handy for the band than it is anybody else. Just purely for the fact like we watch it, I watch it a lot and like I like reflect on like what moment didn't land or what part was like not good.
So do you
Or like
watch what you have done or the people's reaction? What do you try to?
like usually kind of like a bit of both. Like that's why like we have a lot of recordings out and stuff. Like we like to sort of like also share the progress with the world, I guess, a little bit. And also, yeah, like I don't watch it all the time. Like I don't sit in front of the TV every night and watch the same run of shows. Like that's not, but like at least like once a week or once every two sort of weeks, I'll sit down and like not fully watch something, but like a song from I don't know, the Dublin Castle show or a song from here and see like what I liked and what I didn't like.
Yeah. You say you watch these videos with your parents with all these things you do. I wonder what they make of that, or how they react to all these things.
I don't fully know what the parents fully like my parents fully think of it. I even do like my mum obviously always help my like personally my mum always help is the if you've ever been to an EB headline show, it's my mum always behind the merch stand, always giving out the EB tops. But like I think they're as lost as we are with it in terms of like it's like I think in a year we've come a very, very long way.
Yeah.
And like I think like a lot of like especially I think like my parents are very much like this is like cool. Like but like my parents like love Emergency Break and pretty much everyone's parents within EB love Emergency Break. Like
Yeah, I think it's with my parents. 'Cause I've got three siblings, so there's four of us. So my parents always quite going between like our four different worlds. And one day, Emergency Break world turned up, and so like every now and then they'll just get updates because I'll be working or something like that. And I'll give them an update. Okay, we're doing this now, and I think they don't quite understand or quite get it. Which I don't think any of us really do ourselves, to be
I
honest.
love the community we've built around it so
Yeah,
far.
100%.
Like if it all ends tomorrow, like I'll be really proud of like the community that like we've built around it. Like I don't even know if I want to call them like fans. Like I just want to say like we're all part of a cult together, and maybe we're just the leaders of it. I don't really know. I just like I just love the community that we've got around that and like a headline show and you know when things do go wrong, like it's over at O2 how everybody helped everyone out and you know
Yeah,
there's just I think there's a great sense of like like I think we're all quite proud of the community that has come out of EB so far.
I think it's all quite community. Everyone and Ibish I think wants to have a good time. They're all really nice to each other, and everyone kind of gets a bit involved in their own different way. And I think that's one of the best things about it. And I mean, even like with the band ourselves, Finn, I've not even known for a year yet, and like that kid's now like my little brother. And like in case this, it extends out of the band, I think as well. Like I know fans who've now made friends with each other, or like people who now they speak to each other about this or that, or they share stuff online. And I think being able to create that is maybe actually the best bit about
Like,
Emergency Break.
I love going to gigs now, running into people who've like been to our shows or stuff. Like we went to sports team at Amira and we ran into people who'd just seen us at O2 Academy Islington, and it wasn't like weird. It was just like great, and we just all spoke about the night. Like, and it's like I really like the sense of togetherness that we build with like our shows. Like I don't want it to feel like, you know, it's the band and then you know, I want it to feel like, you know, we're all together, and that's also why I do end up usually getting in the crowd a lot and stuff. You know, like it comes to Pyro, what was that second song in O2, and we had that new outro, and I was like, there's no way I am not hopping over that barrier right now. It would almost be rude, like you know. And that's like, you know, and that's what I love. Like I can almost feel it in my chest, that like sense of like I've got to go in there, like, and that's the great that yeah.
Now we're very close to On the Meadow Festival. It's yet another example of you guys, you know, just not hesitating, just going for it. You know, not waiting to have an invitation to play at the festival. You just go and do it yourselves, and it's also it goes with this kind of image of, you know, a group of rebels that don't just wait for something to happen. There, you just want to force things. But you put together a festival with a lot of very, very good names. How do you feel about it as we are getting close to that date?
It was daunting at first, really scary, like really scary. And there's a lot that's the first thing in a while where like the self-doubt kicked in. I was like, I'll worry about it once we've got O2 Academy Islington fully out of the way. But like that was where the real self-doubt was, because it's basically a brand new venture. And it's not a venture in the sense of like it's our headline show, or you know, if something goes wrong, it's just an emergency break show, so it's fine, it's on us. You know, there's the need to cater for, you know, 6 or 7 or 8, maybe even like incredible artists, an incredible like lineup of hosts, podcasts, like, you know, in an incredible venue that have like also helped sponsor the event. And like there's some great like press people like yourself behind it. Like there's a lot more like riding on it, and I really like now cannot wait for it all to fully kick off. And like I'm really happy with the lineup. Like we mentioned this on the call that like we had all the months ago, when I was like I wanted to pick like an act almost like diverse out of like when you think of the title like indie, like I wanted to pick an act that came each under the niche bracket of that, and I think that On the Meadow captures that almost perfectly.
You didn't hide that you really wanted Toby Sebastian. I think it was quite clear.
Yeah.
And you have some of your friends there as well. The Ariston, Eve Frierson, yeah, the cigarettes, a few of your friends. So it's a good chemistry there.
Yeah, and that's what's great. Like, you know, being able to like, you know, a year ago we wouldn't have been able to pull like, you know, these people together to make an event like this. And it also shows like where we have come in a year in terms of that we can just speak to these people and be like, do you want to play? And it's just the answer, yeah. And you know, like a lot of the conversations we had were like quite easy. It was more just trying to put it all together under one date and one time and one location was the hardest part. And I'm sure that you're probably also learning this yourself now with like, you know, your own ventures in the gig world.
So guys, thank you very much for this conversation. It was really enjoyable. It was great fun. Obviously you have quite a few shows coming up. There would be a lot of material in this channel, so I want to tell people to subscribe to this channel. There will be a lot of material, especially if they like Emergency Break. There will be a lot of videos here. And thank you very much, and I'm going to see you again very soon.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Can't wait to see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers.